Hi everyone, it's Marissa from bumblebeeapothecary.com. Today I'd like to show you how I make a sourdough pizza crust. I am doing this sourdough pizza crust recipe video in collaboration with some of my YouTube friends. First, there is Mary from Mary's Nest. She has a beautiful channel where she teaches traditional cooking skills. She has so many amazing recipe videos, so definitely go check out her channel. I'm also doing it in collaboration with Laura from Our Oily House. She has a great channel as well with essential oil education. She has so many recipes for how to use essential oils and information about using them. She also has healthy recipes and lots of DIY recipes as well. And then I'm also doing it with Rachel from This Lovely Little Farmhouse. She makes videos on from scratch recipes, DIY projects, and about her farmhouse. So definitely go check out all of their channels. I will have links below in the description box as well as in the cards up above. Okay, so let's jump right into the recipe for how to make this sourdough pizza crust. I'm going to start by mixing 1.5 cups of sourdough starter in my mixing bowl, along with some salt, some oil, and some more flour. So let's first start with the sourdough starter. So the sourdough starter that I use is a rye sourdough starter. I feed it with rye just in general. That's what it was designed to work with, but I love it because I can use it with whatever flour I want. So as I got this sourdough starter ready for this recipe, I fed it with spelt flour. So this has some rye in it and lots of whole grain spelt. Now for this recipe, you do need to feed your sourdough starter 3 times, about 4 to 12 hours apart. And to get ready for this recipe, I put in 1/2 cup of starter and I fed it with half a cup of flour and then enough water to get it to the consistency that it should be, like a pancake batter. And then I just fed it another 1/2 cup the next time and another 1/2 cup of flour the next time with, again, enough water to get it to the right consistency. So I did that 3 times and then it was ready today to start baking. So I have 1.5 cups of the starter into my bowl. I'm also going to add 1 teaspoon of salt and 1 tablespoon of oil. I am using avocado oil. I like that for when I need a liquid oil in a recipe because it has a high smoke point. I don't have to worry about it getting damaged like an olive oil would. And then I'm going to add 1.25 cups of flour. Now, since I have so much whole grain already fermented in my sourdough starter, I want a nice pizza dough consistency, so I'm going to be using some white flour. This is all-purpose unbleached white flour that has not been enriched. I get it from Azure Standard. Whenever I do use a white flour, I make sure to not get the enriched kind, because those things that are added to it to make it enriched are actually not good for us. Sometimes when we're using our nice sourdough, we do use some white flour with it. The Nourishing Traditions cookbook actually talks about that. So let's go ahead and add our flour. I'm going to add 1.25 cup approximately to start with. And then I'm going to mix that, and then I'm going to see if I need to add more flour or not. I'm wanting it to come together into a nice ball of dough. And the amount of additional flour that you will need to use just depends on how wet your sourdough starter was to begin with. Okay, so it's coming together nicely, but I can see that it is a little bit on the sticky side, so I am going to add a little bit more flour. So then we'll just mix in that flour. As it gets stiffer, I'm going to be switching to my hands instead to knead it a little bit. So then I'm just going to finish kneading that around a little bit right in the bowl with my hands. And then once it's a nice pizza dough consistency like that, we're just gonna let it rest. Okay, now that the dough has rested, I'm going to bring it onto my pizza stone. I'm going to put just a little bit of avocado oil on the stone. Rub that around a little bit. And then we're just going to start working the dough and kind of stretch it out some in the air first. And then put it onto the stone and you just work it, stretching it out. Okay, that looks great. Next, I'm just going to go around and poke some holes in it. That'll just help prevent any air pockets from forming. And then I'm going to go bake this in a 500-degree Fahrenheit oven for about 7 minutes. Okay, now here is the crust after it's been in the oven for 7 minutes. You can see how the heat from baking it is making the crust puff up nicely. So now we get to decorate it with toppings. I'm first going to add some sauce. And then I'm going to add some mozzarella cheese. I actually made this mozzarella cheese earlier today from some milk. It's actually very easy to make. And if you'd like, I can show you how to make homemade mozzarella cheese. And so if you're interested in learning how to do that, leave me a comment below. But this homemade mozzarella cheese is not the easiest to shred. So what I like to do is just tear chunks off and just kind of spread it around on the pizza, and I think it turns out delicious. And then we're going to top with some pepperoni. I have some natural pepperoni that does not have nitrites or nitrates or artificial preservatives or anything nasty like that. Now we're just going to return this to the oven and cook until the cheese is nice and melty and is starting to get kind of golden brown. The time that it takes for that to happen will vary, so I'm going to start at 10 minutes and see how it looks. Chances are that'll be long enough, but if not, I'll put it back in for a few minutes. So I'm going to go take this and stick it into the oven. Okay, here we go. Fresh out of the oven. It looks and smells so good. I first had it in there for 10 minutes and it still looked kind of pale to me, so I added 3 minutes to it and this looks perfect. Let's go ahead and cut a slice of this so you can see what the slice looks like. You can see how the mozzarella cheese has melted and kind of spread around more, so it didn't really matter that it wasn't shredded, which is so nice. Oh, the crust is perfect. It's all nice and light inside, and it's going to be chewy inside, kind of crisper on the outside. Absolutely delicious. Alrighty, I hope that you enjoyed seeing how I make a sourdough pizza crust. I hope that you give it a try, and if you do, leave me a comment below and let me know how yours turned out. I have more videos on sourdough. I show you how to make a sourdough starter from scratch, as well as how to make some sourdough bread, and I have more sourdough recipes coming up. I'll have a link below to some of the equipment that you need to make this, to make your sourdough starter and pizza, as well as one of my favorite places to buy organic groceries and pantry staple items. I also wanted to mention, if you're new here, that I have a password-protected, member-exclusive subscriber library on my blog. It is where all of my free ebooks and printables and labels, checklists, and everything are all in one place. There will be a link below where you can get access to that. Okay, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. That really helps my channel. Share this with anybody that you think would like to learn how to make a sourdough pizza crust. Here on my channel, I show you how to make nourishing recipes for nutrient-dense food, natural remedies, and DIY skincare and home products. So if those are something that you're interested in and you're new to my channel, please please hit that subscribe button. I get out 2 videos every week. Also be sure and check out Mary and Laura and Rachel's channels. There will be links to them below. I'm sure that you're gonna love what they have also. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time. Bye.